Hey guys, Lucky here. In this video, we're going to go over the secrets of the overworld. Some of this you might know, but some you definitely won't, hopefully. So let's dive into how the overworld content works and how to maximize what you get out of it, all of the ins, the outs, and the secrets, as well as how to use it to unlock some sweet cosmetics like the mount I'm riding on right now. So let's dive in. Cellars are going to be located all over the map, like this one right here. Cellars got a few unique kind of secrets to them. One is that you might go into a cellar and run into the butcher. Another is that you might go into the cellar and run into a room full of the goblins. But probably the most interesting thing that I've run into in these cellars so far was a gigantic chest. I'll try to find a picture of it and show you it here on screen. But basically you'll walk into this room and there will be a giant chest with a little puzzle on the ground in front of it. There will be a bunch of lit up runes and there will be on the chest a series of runes as well. And the runes on the chest are telling you which runes on the floor you need to step on to open the chest. Now, the trick is if you find this room, what you need to do is step on the rune and get away from it as fast as possible. If you get away from the runes without taking any damage, you'll hear like a little sound kind of signaling that you successfully stepped on that rune without taking damage. And now it's going to let you do the next one. So you step on the next rune that it's telling you to step on, going from left to right, and you step on it and then you get out of there as fast as you can, evade out away from all of the other runes because they're about to explode. And once you've done all three, the giant chest will open, giving you a massive amount of loot. It's a really cool, fun little thing that you find. I had no idea it existed. I thought it was so cool when I ran into this chest in this room. There's this little puzzle there. Oh, by the way, it's really, really important to note, this will kill you if you fail the puzzle. It can definitely kill you. I shouldn't say it will, but it can. It killed me the first time I walked in. I had no idea what it was. And so I saw the puzzle and I was like, oh, and so I stood on one of the runes. The rest of them blew up and I died. It's a chain reaction explosion if you fail the puzzle. So, if you're a hardcore player, just be careful. If things get too tough, take a short break. Maybe play 5 minutes of your favorite mobile game, like Honkai Star Rail, the sponsor of today's video. Honkai Star Rail is a free new multi-platform space fantasy RPG from Hoyoverse, the makers of Genshin Impact. It's on PC and mobile, so you can play anytime, anywhere. Experience magnificent cutscenes, charming characters, and exciting battles. Professional cinematography and animation direction will grant players the same level of audiovisual experience as top-notch animation series. HSR characters are fashionable, refined, mature, and have a multitude of different styles to show off. Like Luocha, a foreign trader who comes from beyond the seas. He always rescues people in times of danger with his consummate medical skills. He is constantly calm and collected, forever unfathomable. Definitely try Luocha on your team. His ultimate puts out massive AoE damage and he can dispel enemy buffs. Personally, I can't get enough of heroes that put out massive AoE damage. Honkai Star Rail is out now. Check the link in the description below to download the game and try Luocha yourself. Be sure to use the promo code on screen for 50 stellar jades. Thanks for listening. Let's get back to the video. Let's talk about Nightmare Dungeons because they just got a massive buff from Blizzard yesterday. They've increased the XP that you get in them drastically, and they've also made it a lot easier to farm them over and over by allowing us to teleport straight into the dungeon. The first thing you need to know about Nightmare Dungeons is that they don't unlock until you get to World Tier 3. So once you've completed the story campaign and completed your capstone dungeon, you'll be able to go to Nightmare World Tier 3 here, and at that point you'll be able to start collecting sigils from a variety of activities. These sigils are what you'll use to open up Nightmare Dungeons. They'll appear in your inventory like this under consumables, so you might already have some if you're already in World Tier 3 or 4, right? You're definitely probably going to have some of these already sitting in your consumables tab, and then all you have to do is right click on one. You right click it, and now what you do is you're going to open your map and you'll see right there. There it is. That is the symbol you're looking for. That's the Nightmare Dungeon. Now, the new thing that they just changed is you can teleport straight to the Nightmare Dungeon simply by clicking on it. You didn't used to be able to do this. You used to have to run. You used to have to hoof it all the way from the nearest waypoint. And a lot of times, just like this time, the nearest waypoint is a bit of a ride, right? And that was drastically cutting down the amount of XP per hour that you were making by doing Nightmare Dungeons, and was part of the reason why people were farming regular dungeons over and over, because they could just do a dungeon, log out, log in, do that same dungeon, right, without having to make this trek across the open world over and over. Well, to alleviate that problem, using sugar instead of stick, Blizzard greatly enhanced the experience we get from each nightmare dungeon that we do. Now you're going to notice it too. If you haven't already, you're getting way more experience per nightmare dungeon. It's going to be a lot easier to get to 100 now than it was a week ago. So yay for us. Also, you're going to be able to teleport in like we mentioned, right? So you just you click that and it's going to teleport you to that nightmare dungeon. That's great. Once there, you're going to run the nightmare dungeon. Nightmare dungeons are going to have the best loot in the game right now. There is no better way to farm loot. Nightmare dungeons have the best loot, and a large part of why they have the best loot is because in this case here, this is a level 50 sigil. As you can see there at the top, it says Nightmare Dungeon tier 50. Tier 50 means the mobs inside are level 104 because you add 54 to the level of the sigil to know what level the mobs inside are going to be. So if you're ever wondering what tier sigil you should be starting with, probably just subtract about 51 from whatever level you are. So if you're 61, then you want to subtract 51 from that and do a tier 10 sigil. And that's going to give you mobs that are a few levels higher than yourself, which is optimal for grinding XP without having to slow down too much for each kill, because the mobs start getting exponentially harder the more levels ahead of you they are. That's just kind of how the game works. It mitigates a lot of your damage just because they're higher level than you. So when you're fighting something a lot higher than you, your damage really starts to fall off on them. And one of the main reasons the drops inside of these are so good is because the mobs inside are higher level. Like we mentioned, the mobs inside of this one are level 104. If I go out into the open world and I start killing mobs, the mobs are only going to be my level, and this character is level 76. So I'd be fighting level 76 mobs unless I was at a stronghold where the mobs are 2 levels higher, right? But for the most part, I'd be fighting level 76 mobs out in the open world. And so by focusing on higher tier sigils or higher tier nightmare dungeons, we are greatly increasing the drops that we get and the quality of the drops, right? So these drops have a much higher chance of being ancestral instead of sacred, of having higher rolls instead of lower rolls. So that's kind of your incentive to, one, do the dungeons. One, it's the best XP in the game now. It's the best rewards in the game. It's the best drops in the game. And you can push the mob levels higher so that you can get more experience and higher level rewards and better rewards. Also, just something to note, the minimum tier sigil you can do to try to get the ultra rare uniques like the Grandfather, like the Harlequin Crest or the Shaco, right? To get these things, you need to be doing tier 31. You add 54 to 31 and you get level 85 mobs, which is the minimum level that those items will drop. So just a heads up, you want to be doing at least tier 31 as soon as possible if you're the type of person that's hoping to get one of those drops. All right. Next up, let's talk about the Tree of Whispers. And I'm going to be kind of candid here because I am not the biggest fan of spending time doing the Tree of Whispers. There's a lot of good reasons to do Tree of Whispers, especially from, say, level 1 to 50 on an alt, where you're leveling a second character, but you don't have access to the campaign because you skipped it. Tree of Whispers is a nice way to vary your activities as you go from 1 to 50 before you start that nightmare dungeon grind at 50. But on your first character and on a high level character, say past level 55, the rewards that you get from the Tree of Whispers down here just really don't seem that satisfying to me. It could just be anecdotally, my experience has been unlucky, but I did 2 of them today after they improved the drops that you get from the Tree of Whispers, and I'm level 76, and it gave me almost exclusively sacred items. I stopped looking for sacred items about 16 levels ago when I put on all of the ancestral gear I found right away upon hitting level 60, right? So it's been a long time. It's been about 16 levels since sacred items were appealing to me, and the Tree of Whispers is still giving me almost exclusively nothing but sacred items, even after they increase the drops. So just something to know about the Tree of Whispers. The XP you get for it is okay, and the rewards you get for it are okay. There are some unique rewards and some unique cosmetics that you get from doing the Tree of Whispers, so they're not for nothing. There's, definitely reasons to do them to farm the cosmetics that come specifically from the tree, or if you just want to vary your activities up. The way I treat the Tree of Whispers is I do it on accident, right? Like I will do a world boss and I'll do a legion and I'll do a world boss or a legion, right? And eventually my Tree of Whispers will fill up and I'll come here and I'll turn it in and I'll get the reward passively. And in doing so, the rewards feel okay that way because I didn't go out of my way to collect those rewards. I just got them on accident. Now, I did see a tweet that made it sound like Blizzard was looking at these drops and considering improving them further. So maybe we'll see this problem that I've kind of noticed with the Tree of Whispers feeling a bit underwhelming, especially post level 55, sometime between now and season 1. In the meantime, I would say it's most useful to focus your time and attention on the other activities that we're going to be discussing in this video. So the next one we'll cover are helltides. Helltides are going to pop up all over the map. You're going to see the symbol on the map. You can start seeing these again at World Tier 3 and beyond. These are going to be another activity that you can't see and participate in until you get to World Tier 3. But once there, you'll see them pop up on the map roughly every other hour. There's a few things to know about helltides and how they operate. You're going to want to participate in the helltides, especially earlier on before you have a ton of the resources that come specifically from the helltides. So if you want to re-roll stats on gear, which you will want to do, that's how you're going to make your best in slot gear. You're going to find a piece of gear that has 3 good stats and 1 bad stat, and you're going to be like, oh man, it was almost perfect. All you have to do is go to the occultist, which is right here. It's the triangle with the 3 circles. You come to this one, you hit the enchant tab on the far right here. It's kind of behind my picture, but you see it there, that little button right there, and you can put an item in there. And by doing that, it'll let you re-roll 1 of these stats on the item. So if you click 1, let's say I wanted to roll off the healing received, I could do that using the currency. This one right here, these Fiend Roses, which are exceptionally hard to find, found during Helltides when Sanctuary gives way to Hell's Influence. I've got 520, so they're not that exceptionally hard to find. Clearly, you will end up with way more of these than you need if you participate in the Helltides fairly regularly, and it is worth it to do so because they are a pretty good source of ancient legendaries and sacred legendaries when you're looking for those. And you can kind of consistently farm the specific chests while you're in the Helltides. One of the things to know about the Helltides is that there's always going to be 2 mystery chests. These 2 mystery chests, unless you're looking for a specific piece of gear, like you're set, like everything is locked in except for 1 piece of gear, then if that's not the case, right, you're looking for multiple pieces of gear, you want to look for the 2 mystery chests. There's 2 of them during the Helltide, and if the Helltide crosses the 1 hour mark, right, if it crosses the top of the hour, so let's say a Helltide goes from 1 to 2 p.m. In that case, there's only going to be 2 chests, and it's going to be the same 2 for the entire duration. But let's say the next Helltide goes from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m., right? In that case, you would get 2 chests from 4:30 to 5, and then at 5 o'clock, the chests would despawn and 2 new ones would spawn, allowing you to get up to 4 chests that time. So just know if you see a Helltide pop up and it's going to last an hour, if it pops up at the half-hour mark, you're going to be able to farm the mystery chests twice. You'll be able to farm them for the first half hour, get those unlocked, then open them again in the second half hour in their new locations. And speaking of which, we just had a Helltide pop up on screen. How very perfect for us. So this is what it looks like when a Helltide pops up on screen. This is where it is. And there's going to be a place here and a place here. So for the mystery chests that we're talking about, they could spawn anywhere in here, right? There's a zone here. There's going to be 1 Helltide somewhere in the zone. You can see it outlined. And there's going to be 1 down here. Now, you can either just kind of wander around this entire zone looking for the chests manually, or you can use a website called helltides.com, which tells you, hey, with the green dot here, there's 1 of the chests. It just popped up. And when the community locates the other one, then the other chest will have a green dot next to it. So you'll see the chest with the green dot. That means that's where the Helltide is. This Helltide started at 8:15, which means it's going to end at 9:15, which means you would have 15 minutes to get a second set of chests after this Helltide's over if you wanted to farm those mystery chests. The great thing about the mystery chests, if you didn't know, is that they, instead of giving you like 1 ancestral legendary, they will give you somewhere between 2 and 4 ancestral legendaries when you open them up. The only difference is it's a random piece of gear rather than being able to open a chest that's going to give you a helmet or going to give you a necklace. These ones will give you any piece at all. So they can be worth it to farm or not. But you definitely need to go to Helltides either way because you're going to need that currency for re-rolling your gear. One other little secret about the Helltides is that you can go into the Helltide, kill the mobs in World Tier 3, and then if you have access to World Tier 4, you can go change the world, go to World Tier 4 and open the chests in World Tier 4 so that you have a chance to get ancestral gear with the cinders that you earned in World Tier 3. So that seems like something they might change sometime in the future, but for now, that's an option for you if you want to take advantage of it. It's also worth noting that it was in a Helltide in Skosglen where I got my moose barding here for my mount. That makes it look like I'm riding a moose around. Pretty cool. One of the coolest looking ones in the game right now, I think. So in order to get that, all you have to do to get that is participate in a Helltide in Skosglen. I'm told you can also get them from participating in events in Skosglen and maybe even legions in Skosglen. It's generally going to be a Skosglen activity that is going to yield you this moose barding. So anytime you see something going on in Skosglen, go ahead and jump in on it if this is something that you're interested in getting. All right, the next thing we'll quickly touch on are legions. Legions are going to pop up all over the map, and you won't be able to participate in them until you've completed the stronghold that occupies the location that the legion takes place at. So if you go to a legion and nobody is around and it's just a bunch of random mobs, it's because you have not completed that stronghold yet. So there's a few reasons to do strongholds, one of which is so you can participate in the legions that take place at those strongholds. The legions are going to be the best XP per minute in the game, especially until your build gets pumping and it really starts deleting its way through these nightmare dungeons, which are actually now really good to farm, right? Until then, especially, legions are going to be the best XP per minute in the game. So anytime you see one and it's convenient, definitely go jump on that thing. And even if it's inconvenient, when you're like just entering World Tier 3 or just entering World Tier 4 and you're kind of on the precipice of being ready for that area, that's a good time to go hop on a legion. This spectral charger right here, this mount I got from a legion, and so can you. It's a very common drop, real easy to get if you want it. Just participate in those legions. Another thing worth noting about the strongholds is not only are they worth doing for the legions, but they're also worth doing because you get that 100 renown. If you didn't know about that yet, the renown is incredibly important for unlocking the skill points and the other rewards that are tucked into the renown system. I'm not going to go too deep into that here because this guide is kind of for people that are beyond that point in the game, but definitely check out my complete beginner guide. I'll link it in the description if you aren't familiar with the renown system and how all that works. But strongholds are worth 100. It's massive, so you want to do them anyway. And the enemies in strongholds are always 2 levels higher than you, so it's usually good XP and good gear rewards that you're getting from there when you're participating in those things. One other thing you might run into in the open world are treasure goblins, and it is worth noting that just like a lot of things in this game, treasure goblins do have unique cosmetic drops, like a barding for your mounts that only they can drop. So definitely, no matter what you're doing, always stomp on those goblins if you were for some reason passing them. I know I don't have the willpower to pass a goblin. When I see it, I will dismount. I will run through 1,000 mobs to kill a goblin if I see it. So hopefully you're doing the same, and if you are doing it, eventually you will get one of those cosmetics. And next, all right, guys, those are the biggest secrets slash tips I have for the overworld, things that a lot of people still don't know about. If you have any that I didn't mention, be sure to leave them in a comment below. You know, take a penny, leave a penny type of situation, and check out the comments that other people have left behind, tips that I might have missed, and maybe there's some really good ones in there. And if there's enough good ones, I'll go ahead and make another video including those tips as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Massive shout out to my YouTube members. If you want to become a member for behind the scenes footage, access to the private Discord channel, and to get your name to appear here at the end of the videos, or if you just want to support the channel, hit the join button down below. Be sure to like and subscribe for more Diablo content. If you're not sure what to do, swing by my Twitch stream over at twitch.tv/luckyghost. I'm probably live right now, or maybe check out one of the videos popping up on screen right now.